Tuesday evening, and hello, I'm Sean Fitz. Welcome to Turn 1. Tonight, the Downforce Racing Series takes on race number 6. We're at Chicago tonight for 140 laps. And the next gen car, we're glad you're with us here this evening. On the pole, this is a solid start for that driver. The 91 of Ross Rawlings, starting P1. He's going to start. Ryan Patty in the 30 is going to start on the outside row 1. Vinny Masteas, last week's race winner, and he is iron hot right now. We're going to talk about Vinny probably a couple times here tonight. Going to start inside row 2. Paul Crumry, Charles Woods going to round out your top 5. These drivers are getting ready to go here, getting grid up at Chicago again for 140 laps of racing action. While we're waiting for that, it's never too late to talk about next Tuesday right here on Turn 1. The Downforce Racing Series takes on Talladega for 80 laps of super speedway racing action, and you're certainly not going to want to miss that. As they come down the backstretch here, again, getting ready to come out. Green flag racing here under the lights of Chicagoland, 140 laps. It's going to be a good time. If you have never seen a race at Chicagoland, it is, it's a flatter Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's going to be a lot of intense action, a lot of runs. You got to manage the tires, but ultimately, it's a really good racetrack to see these cars out on here tonight. New updates on iRacing here tonight. It's also going to shake some things up. We'll see if that plays a factor. In the meantime, the pace truck is going to get ready to head down pit road for the first time here tonight and cut these Downforce Racing Series drivers loose. There you have it. Down the front stretch here into the start zone. Ross Rawlings gets them rolling from the pole, and the green flag is out. We're underway at Chicago. Rawlings out to a clean start. Ryan Patty, Vinny Masteas. Sitting second and third, Paul Crumry. Charles Woods, your top 5. James Durr looking for an opportunity to knock on the door there. He's going to look outside of Woods as they come across the front stretch for the first time. Durr is going to get by Woods, nearly makes wall contact on the entry of 1, but he's going to squeeze by. James Durr now is also going to slide up in front of our point center, Jeff Hollingsworth. Speaking of Jeff, he has been iron hot lately in terms of consistency. He does have 6 starts, but he has 0 poles or wins this season. But just being a man of consistency, delivering results each and every week. Right now, Jeff Hollingsworth trying to get by James Durr for the top 5 here early tonight in Chicago. Go back up front here, Ross Rawlings. Another driver who has been really consistent, really clean. Rawlings has 4 top 4s. He's sitting P7 in the points here tonight. Just really clean, and by that I mean some of the lowest incident points in the league in this field. So Ross Rawlings out front, free and clear, now starting to roll out his lead to 0.3 of a second over Ryan Patty. Top 7, actually top 10 now, single filed out as they roll down this backstretch. That's a battle right there. That's Dave Hunt and Dave Hunt and Steve Lane. The Hunt getting by Lane there. That is going to be for 11th. Look up the field just a little bit further here. It's kind of an all-out battle up here for 4th with Vinny Masteus in 3rd. He's got pressure from Durr, Crumry, and Hollingsworth all kind of big in the rear view as they come down the backstretch into 3. Oh, big send in there. That was Durr. Made contact with Masteus. Masteus is going to slide up the racetrack. Now it's 3 wide across the line. Sorry about that. It looks like we were still on our intro screen, but that's okay. Ross Rawlings continues to lead here. Ryan Patty, Vinny Masteus, Jeff Hollingsworth, James Durr, your top 5. Paul Crumry, Charles Woods. And then it gets a little chaotic back here. That's Tyler White, Dave Hunt, Andrew Lutz Jr. Woods now starting to fall back a little bit after a really decent qualifying effort. And then really the rest of the field back here kind of minding their P's and Q's. It's Mike Whitaker, Bob Lacavera side by side. That's back here for 16th as they come across the stripe. Go back up front. Ross Rawlings in that 91 car. Just running a clean race here, 0.6 of a second over last week's race winner, Vinny Masteus, who's on the outside of Ryan Patty. Masteus has been really, really fast over the last couple weeks, winning 3 of the last 5. Vinny currently sitting P6 in the points. And like I mentioned, winning 3 of the last 5, especially last week at a chaotic Pocono. Tonight, I would imagine that driver is going to have his head down and looking for another opportunity to bring home a checkered flag before all of these drivers head on over to Talladega and take on the 2.5-mile High Bank Super Speedway where chaos is guaranteed to play out. Under caution, had an incident on the racetrack. It looks like may involve Andrew Lutz. He's down pit road and slow here on lap number 10. Let's take a look here at Tyrone Harris. Also looks like to may have been in a little bit of an issue here. Oh, Tyrone just gets sideways right off of turn 4. Nearly collects those 2 cars, was able to save it. But ultimately, bringing out the caution here for the first time tonight on lap number 10. We are going to take this opportunity to step aside really quick. If you haven't already done so, make sure you like, subscribe, or follow the stream. We appreciate all the support across all the different streaming platforms, whether you're watching on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, or our new vertical stream over on YouTube. We appreciate your viewership. Ross Rawlings did not want to see that caution. He was out to a almost a 0.7 of a second lead. We're under caution for the first time here for the DRS crew on turn 1. Getting ready to go back. Green flag racing here. Vinny Masteus, Ross Rawlings, your front row. No takers down pit road out of the top 10. Here at Chicago, a lot of these drivers going to save some tires in the pits. It's a long race here tonight, 140 laps. And this Chicago racetrack, known for high tire wear, multi-groove racing action. A lot of come and go is going to happen here tonight. We got a long green flag run. Speaking of, green flag back out. Rawlings rolling. Ryan Patty's going to squeeze out in front of Masteus to take that second spot away. Dive deep down into the corner there to get that spot. Hollingsworth knocking on the door of a top 3. All of a sudden, right to the inside of Masteus, our points leader. Looking for a top 3 here. They're side by side. As they come across the stripe, Masteus is going to try to hold him off on the outside. Ultimately going to be even getting into the corner, but Hollingsworth is going to have the advantage down low. Still side by side though. Both those drivers can't get away from one another. And meanwhile, Tyler White, Paul Crummery behind them battling just a little bit down the backstretch. Here comes Hollingsworth again. You're not missing anything up front. Rawlings continues to lead. But these two are battling tough, side by side. Masteus is leveraging the RPM in the car to keep the outside line. He's going to try to shut the door. He's going to have a big run there. Masteus going to hold off Hollingsworth. Then we slide just a little further back. This is Dave Hunt, Charles Woods side by side. Hunt on the high side, Woods on the low side. Then it's Durr and Andrew Lutz Jr. battling. This is a big pile of cars here. Really 4 cars that were battling side by side. All to try to stay up close to the top 5 spot. Right now, Woods trying to hold all the traffic off, but here comes Andrew Lutz Jr. on the high side. That 7 car looking impressive so far tonight up there. Able to ride right outside that wall. Complete different line than what you see, than what you see Charles Woods running below him. We got a car spinning sideways down the front stretch. That is James Durr. James was in that top 5 that top 8 situation. Let's go back here, take a look, find out what happened. Looks like Durr here on the bottom of the racetrack. Oh, he just gets loose. Single car incident. Very similar to Tyrone Harris's spin. Gonna bring the caution out once again here at Chicagoland. Ross Rawlings continues to lead here, lap number 19. Ryan Patty, Vinny Masteus, Jeff Hollingsworth, Tyler White, your top 5. Again, want to quickly just mention next week for the Downforce Racing Series, they're heading to Talladega. That's right, the Super Speedway. 2.5-mile high bank racetrack. It's going to be really, really intense with this group and these next-gen cars. Watching the draft go back and forth, and they're headed to Southern Alabama to take on the high bank racetrack that is Talladega. Right here on Turn 1 next Tuesday evening, 8 Central, 9 Eastern, on everywhere you consume Turn 1 content. Ross Rawlings continuing to lead, start on the pole. He's going to stay there up front. Come back for the restart. You're watching Turn 1. Ross Rawlings going to be the restart control car as they go back green flag racing here lap 22. Under the lights here at Chicagoland for the Downforce Racing Series. Right here on turn 1. So far, no takers down pit road. The top 10. Still a long way to go here tonight in Chicago. 140 laps. Just 20 in so far. Pace truck's going to head down pit road. There they go. Back to the restart zone. The green flag back out. We're underway back to Chicago. Masteus goes high. Nearly makes contact with Patty. He's going to be underneath Patty, trying to close the door. He's going to. Masteus to P2. Meanwhile, it is a 3-wide battle back here coming into 3. That's a 7 car. Andrew Lutz Jr., David Hunt. Caden Henry Oaks was in the mix as well. Chaos mid-pack of the top 10. Back up front, though, Rawlings continues to run strong here. He's got this car figured out right now. 3/10 of a second lead already here. Vinny Masteus now under some pressure once again by Ryan Patty. These two cannot seem to get away from one another. Masteus driving in that high line. Patty using the bottom line to try to stay right there with him, short way around. He gets even with him coming across the stripe again. Now, all of a sudden, Rawlings isn't quite gaining time. And Masteus, as well as Ryan Patty, starting to look big in the mirror. Not as good turn to 1 and 2 for Patty. He's going to fall back. Masteus is going to take that second spot away. Another driver to look out for. He was the fastest driver on the racetrack last time by for the whole race, a 29.80. I'm sorry, a 29.72. There's a 7 car of Andrew Lutz Jr., that driver, putting on a show into the top 5 here, up 7 spots. Going back up front, though, Vinny Masteus. Looking underneath Ross Rawlings. That is our first lead change, and it's going to be the 70 car. Vinny Masteus has been on a tear lately. Won last week at Pocono, has won 3 of the last 5 races. And right now, putting on a clinic up front. Oh no, Rawlings is falling through the field. What's going on? Rawlings is in the grass. I believe he got loose coming off of 2. No, there it is. The caution's out now. Is there going to be more contact on the front stretch? I believe that was, goodness, was that Andrew Lutz, was it? No? I'm not sure who that was peeling off through the infield. Either way, Ross Rawlings, he has stopped. And I imagine some frustration out of Rawlings there. Has led many laps here so far tonight. Just had Vinny Masteus not only post the fastest lap, but take that top spot away. And now we have a new leader in Vinny Masteus up front. That shook up pretty much the whole running order up front. I think there was a lot going on there. Jeff Hollingsworth is now P2. Andrew Lutz Jr. is P3. Ryan Patty is going to come down pit road. I think he had some damage as well. That's going to bring Dave Hunt into the top 5. Either way, under caution for the 3rd time here. Lap number 28. You're watching Turn 1. Benny Macias, Jeff Hollingsworth, your front row. Paul Crummy, Andrew Lutz Jr., Dave Hunt, your top five. Coming back to you here live at Chicagoland for the Downforce Racing Series. Race number 6. Under the lights, you're watching Turn 1. Thanks for being here. Haystruck's going to head down. Vinny Macias to the point, and the green flag back out. Back rolling at Chicago. Andrew Lutz Jr. was deep down the apron. He's actually going to use that to his benefit. He's going to squeeze by Hollingsworth. Hollingsworth is actually a little slow on the start, I would say. I believe that's Paul Crumry right behind him. Gave him the shove he needed. Meanwhile, Caden Henry Oaks battling Dave Hunt for a top 5. Speaking of Oaks, I think he was given a warning for intentional cautions from last week. Oh, out front, Lutz Jr. side by side Macias. Macias has thought he was done with battling somebody on his inside. Wow, the 7 really must have got loose out of the corner. Here comes Hollingsworth. He's going to squeeze by. All of a sudden, that battle turned into everybody falling back there. Macias out on a rip. Now, 4/10 of a second out front. Jeff Hollingsworth now P2. Speaking of, Macias just ran the fastest lap of his race. Fastest lap of the race, a 29.68. So that speed and that gap he put off, and tell you what, Macias has got 3 and 4 figured out. Going back to my talking point, Caden Henry Oaks battling Paul Crumry here. He was actually, I believe, given a warning for intentional caution causing last week. Caden Henry Oaks is going to have to be on his P's and Q's here around Chicago tonight. As Macias walking away up front. Hollingsworth, Lutz Jr. all battling it out right here. That's Dave Hunt trying to hold off Henry Oaks. And then back a little further is Mike Whitaker. He is up 12 spots on the night. Currently sitting 6th. Not a bad run out of the 707. Charles Woods, Paul Crumry, Tyler White, hand over fist. Your top 10. Well, these two battle it out. That's Woods and Crumry side by side. Free and clear up front, Vinny Macias. He's got that car figured out. Hollingsworth again, our point center here tonight. One of the more consistent drivers. No poles, no wins for that driver of the 97, but man, just delivering consistent results here. And this is how you win a points championship, right here. Running consistent laps and being where you need to be when it matters most. Jeff Hollingsworth currently running P2. Speaking of running where it matters, Ross Rawlings. He was the driver who started on the pole, led about 20-25 laps. Got really loose off of turn number 2. And that sent him back to the end of the field. I do believe he's not come down pit road. So Rawlings now battling Bob Lacavera there. That's for 13th. We talked about it earlier in the broadcast. Rawlings is consistent and has been on a bit of a hot streak here. A few incidents, so that was kind of abnormal to see him get involved there or have that caution come out. Now, trying to work his way back forward into a top 5 position. Hollingsworth, I think, at this rate, doesn't need to worry about what's ahead of him. He needs to worry about what's behind him. Lutz Jr. last time by rated 29.72. Hollingsworth a 29.87. So that's about a 10th. That's about a 10th or so faster lap over lap. This time by, it's, I'm sorry, no, let's take that back. That was a 30.20. So Lutz's 30.24 that time. I was looking at best lap times. That just shows you the tire wear. These drivers they've only had, let's call it what, 15 laps of green flag action. Tire wear already started to affect them by nearly a full second here. Andrew Lutz Jr. side by side Caden Henry Oaks as they come out of 4, are able to hold him off. Dave Hunt here has got the crowd around him. He has been the guy that has had the driver, everybody kind of surrounding him most of the night here. Mike Whitaker knocking on the door of a top 5, but here comes Paul Crumry as well. Crumry, he started up there in 4th place position, looking for that spot, get it back up there to those spots. Crumry gonna look side to inside Hunt. They're gonna be even as they come across or come down the front stretch, nearly side by side. Hunt has a really strong pull. He's got that outside sorted out. Again, tire wear going to start to become a factor here. We're going to start to see some folks start to fade and or as they say, come and go here at this 1.5 mile Chicagoland racetrack, where tire wear is very much a factor. Multi-lane racing is key here. You've got to be able to put the car in a place that's going to help you save the tire, but also match your driving style and keep the speed up. Crumry tight to the bumper of Hunt. Another driver that's been up front, Ryan Patty, he had to come down pit road lap 27, racing his way back through the field. He is back behind this battle of Crumry and Hunt. Looking back up front here for the top 3, that's Lutz Jr., Caden Henry Oaks, side by side. Oaks is gonna make wall contact. I was gonna say though, he's got 4 figured out, but Lutz Jr. had him pretty high up tight up the racetrack. And that's just a good defensive driving move from the 7. Oaks looks to have made ball contact, but it's going to be a non-event. Oaks is going to use the high side to get around the 7. Out front, though, Vinny Masteas, 0.5 of a second over Jeff Hollingsworth. And last time by the line here, taking a look, it continues to be Masteas and Hollingsworth, some of the fastest in the top 5. See how long that continues to play out as Mike Whitaker is starting to fall back a little bit. He went from 5th to 8th really quick. Crumry, Hunt, and Patty able to squeeze by him down the backstretch there. Maybe a little bit of that car starting to change handling characteristics just a little bit. Rawlings, who was involved, who brought one of those last cautions out here, back up to 11th, was leading pole sitter here tonight. Really looking for, Patty's slow. I think he got loose out of 2. But Rawlings looking for a decent rebound here. He's not been down pit road just yet. But ultimately that car got loose after Vinny Masteas got around him. Rawlings on the recovery now up to P10. No pressure out front. Vinny Masteas, your leader. 0.8 of a second, or 0.7 of a second back as Jeff Hollingsworth, Caden Henry Oaks. Sitting 0.8 behind Jeff Hollingsworth, so those 3 kind of spread out. Lutz Jr., Paul Crumry also have the top 5 mostly spread out there. The long green flag run starting to materialize here. Starting to click off laps. Mike Whitaker fell back to 8th just a few laps ago, able to recover, get by Charles Woods and Dave Hunt. Now back up to 6th. This is where all the racing action is, right here about 5th on back right now on the track, as you see Ryan Patty looking underneath Tyler White. You also see Ross Rawlings now. He's up to 9th and on the move. Rawlings going all the way down to the apron, down the front stretch. He's going to look inside of Dave Hunt here. Rawlings was running equal lap times to the leader last time by. Oh, Rawlings slow down the backstretch again. Not sure what that was about. Either way, that 91 car and the driver sitting in the left seat having a little bit of trouble here tonight in Chicago. throughout this entire field, really only 5 drivers that have come down pit road, so I suspect we will have to see the majority of this field come down by lap, let's call it lap 60. So we'll keep close tabs on what that could look like. Hey, Chris, we see you over on the vertical stream tonight. Thanks so much for being here. And thank you for saying hello. Again, if you haven't already done so, make sure you pop in one of our streams. We're live on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube on Turn 1. We'd love to hear from you. Our top 5 mostly single filed out, but it continues to be a little bit of a hornet's nest back here. 6th, 7th, 8th. That's Charles Woods, Mike Whitaker, Ryan Patty, all battling for those 3 spots right there. Rawlings in the deep rear. Dave Hunt has fallen back to 10th. Here comes Tyler White. I'm sorry, that is not Tyler White. Who is that right there with Mr. Hunt? Oh, there it is. It is that is Rondell. Been down pit road a couple times this evening. That's a lap down car right there around Dave White. Oh, the caution's out. Ryan Patty sideways down the backstretch. I think we got away just in time to not see this caution break out. I do believe it may have involved the 48. Let's take a look. Nope, that just looks like it was all by himself. Unfortunately, the 48 got collected. But that all started there. Ryan Patty spins and brings out the caution here on the backstretch of Chicago. After what I do believe was mostly or the longest green flag run we've had here tonight. Vinny Masteus leads. Jeff Hollingsworth, Caden Henry Oaks, Andrew Lutz Jr., Paul Crumry. Your top 5. I imagine we'll see some pit stops under this caution, but we'll pay close attention. We'll come back. We're back for green flag racing action right here on Turn 1. Last week's race winner at Pocono, Vinny Masteus, currently leads here at Chicagoland for the Downforce Racing Series right here on Turn 1. Hello, everybody. Thanks for being here. Lap number 54 under caution. Getting ready to go back green flag racing. That driver of the number 70 As tell you what, man, he's quick. And these drivers here at Chicagoland, this is Vinny's game. Able to hold off and manage tires a little bit. Not been down pit road. The only driver in the top 10 that has been down pit road was Stephen Lane. He's sitting 9th, and that was back on lap 19. The pace truck's going to head down pit road. Matthias Hollingsworth, your front row. They bunch up, and the green flag back out. Matthias gets a great jump. Here comes Ross Rawlings. Again, he was up front early and led some laps here, got into some trouble. Now Rawlings back on the door of a, or back knocking on the door of a top 3. Mike Whitaker, Paul Crumry, all up here working for those spots as well. And it is continued chaos up here. Tyrone Harris was involved in that first caution. I do believe he's now sitting 9th. Caden Henry Oaks, we saw him come down pit road this cycle. Well, one of only 2 drivers to do so. Oaks now back up to 8th. But he's got some traffic to battle. Matthias out front. 0.4 of a second over Hollingsworth. We're going to focus on these battles back here, 5th through 10th. Rawlings is side by side, Charles Woods. I'm sorry, Rawlings is side by side, Paul Crumry. Charles Woods right behind him. They're 3 wide. Here comes Henry Oaks. Oaks right down to the bottom. Trying to hang on to it. There's another 3 wide battle back there. And that was Charles Woods. He's going to bow out of it. He does not want any of that. Oaks right to the bottom here of Mike Whitaker. He's going to follow Rawlings all the way through, but here comes Caden Henry Oaks. Those new tires starting to play a factor. He's up 13 spots and in 4th. We'll watch the driver of the 51 muscle his way around Rawlings. This is just new Goodyears and what they can do for you. Last time by ran a 30-10, but this lap is going to be way faster than that. Let's see what it materializes to as he's already starting to run down Jeff Hollingsworth. Last time across the stripe there at 29.92. Our leader ran a 30-13 and the fastest in the top 5 outside of Caden Henry Oaks. So he is going to be a factor up front before long. The only other driver to come down pit road was Andrew Lutz Jr., and he is marching himself forward as well. Stuck right behind here, Mike Whitaker. He's got Mike Whitaker, Ryan Patty up front, right off his nose, trying to find the best place to go. Heads down to the apron. Able to pick off Whitaker there. Go back up towards the front here. Oaks has caught up to Jeff Hollingsworth. That is no longer a 10th gap. That is a car length gap, but it's 1. Out of turn 4. Let's take a look at lap times. Oh, caution's out. Not sure where that was or what that was for. I don't see anybody having any problems. Not sure what that was about. Either way, Vinny Matthias out front. Caden Henry Oaks, Jeff Hollingsworth, Ross Rawlings, Ryan Patty, your top 5. Now, I imagine we will see a couple of these folks, now that they know what new tires can do, will have to come down. I would imagine if you're the driver of the 70, yes, you're going to be able to get on the other side of this pit strategy, but for how long? Oaks is going to come down with him. That is actually going to bring him down. Our whole leading group comes down pit road with the exception of Andrew Lutz Jr. and Ryan Patty. These 2 drivers have been quick tonight. What is this going to materialize in? Well, they're going to be up front, and they've only been out there for about 3 laps of green flag racing action on those Goodyears. We'll tell the story when we get back. You're watching Turn 1. Ryan Patty, Andrew Lutz Jr. out front did not come down pit road. They stopped under the last caution, less than 10 laps of racing action on those tires. How is this all going to shake out? By the way, Caden Henry Oaks came down. I believe that it was either fuel only or tire right sides. Either way, he's in the top 3. And then Vinny Masteus, Ross Rawlings, your top 5. You're about to see some exciting action here. If they can keep it green, it's going to be a good time. Green flag, back out in the restart zone here in Chicago. Patty gets a rolling. Lutz has a little bit of trouble. He's going to hold up Masteus as well. It's going to be a 3-wide battle coming out of 2. They're going to get it sorted. It's Henry Oaks, Lutz Jr. side by side down the backstretch. Masteus is going to look on the outside of Rawlings. They're going to get single filed out as they come out of 4. Meanwhile, out front, Ryan Patty leading laps here tonight. But Andrew Lutz Jr. is on a tear. He's on a big lap. Ran the outside, coming out of 1 and 2, and he's going to look to the inside. He's going to take the lead. Andrew Lutz Jr. in the 7 car. New leader here in Chicago. They're not done, though, side by side as they come out of 2 down the backstretch. Ryan Patty out front, but Lutz Jr. just ran the fastest lap with a 9 of 29.63. That's 7 car. Right to the bumper. Oh, nearly makes contact with Patty. Patty can't clear him down the front stretch. Here comes the 7 again. Lutz has got 3 and 4 figured out, but this is where Patty, I think, shines down the backstretch. He's going to go to the high line here. We'll run about a lane higher than the 7. He's going to drive down the banking, but this is going to be Andrew Lutz's lap. The 7 machine out front here. Patty looking to run down the 7 here. He's currently sitting 2nd, led a lap or 2 there. Playing the pit strategy has already won 2 races here this season, looking for a 3rd. Meanwhile, Jeff Hollingsworth, Vinny Masteus, and Caden Henry Oaks, your top 5, but it's not over. Here comes Mike Whitaker. Charles Woods just behind him. A lot of side-by-side action. That's Crumry, Whitaker, Hunt back there as well. Rawlings actually was sitting up there, had a decent pit stop, was sitting 3rd prior to the caution. Now he's fallen back to 11th. But we've got a 3-way battle for the lead. Lutz Jr. and Ryan Patty, they're under pressure. Here comes the points leader, Jeff Hollingsworth. Jeff looking outside Patty. Oh, Lutz Jr. goes for a ride, gets really loose off the corner. He's able to hang on to it. That driver nearly did not save that. I don't know how he managed to hold that spot. Hollingsworth, Patty. Patty's going to look on the inside now. Running the shortest way around this racetrack, right there on the bottom. But not going to be able to do anything. Here comes Hollingsworth, tight to the bumper of the 7. They roll through 3 and 4. Last time by, Lutz Jr. was the 30-18. He was the fastest in the top 10. Trying to hang on to it here. As we talked about at the top of the broadcast, this is a new iRacing update, the first race of the DRS Cruise season under the new update. The update came out today, was a massive one. A ton of content, and who knows what type of handling changes and characteristics these drivers are feeling. But right now, Hollingsworth is going to look to the outside. Lutz Jr. gets loose. He's going to collect, I believe that was, oh goodness, who was that he collected? Lutz Jr. gets loose into turn 1. We saw that happening a couple times. This time, though, he was not able to save it. And I believe that was, looks like Rawlings may have been involved, but I believe that was Ryan Patty he may have tagged. Let's take a look here. Really, from the lead, the 7-car spins right from the top, and that is Ryan Patty. He gets in the door of, man, what a big impact from the 7. And then Rawlings went for a ride, and he is spun as well. Cannot catch a break in the 91 car. Well, that's going to be another caution in the books here, but we're well past halfway. Jeff Hollingsworth is going to inherit the lead. Ryan Patty, P2, Vinny Mastias, Paul Crumry, Caden Henry Oaks, your top 5. We'll step aside once again. You're watching Turn 1. Pace truck lights are off. We're getting ready to get back green flag racing here, lap number 78. Jeff Hollingsworth going to be your new leader after Andrew Lutz Jr. went for a wild ride out of turn number 1. Benny Mastias, Paul Crumry, Dave Hunt, Charles Woods, your top 5. That was a pretty big shakeup. We had a bunch of front-running drivers come down pit road, including Patty, Rawlings, Henry Oaks. Mike Whitaker also came down pit road that time, so a lot of drivers hitting pit road under this caution. Truck's going to head down. Hollingsworth in the control zone. Green flag back out. Lap number 78. Crumry up to the top 2 for the first time tonight inside Vinny Masteus. Masteus on that high line. He's been out of the loop here a little bit over the last 10, 15, 20 laps. Led some laps here earlier tonight, looking to get back up front. But right now, Crumry's going to shut the door. Looking back behind him, though, that chaos is continuing to ensue. But hey, guess what? Dave Hunt is not involved in it. Currently sitting 4th. It's all happening back behind Charles Woods. That's Patty on the inside of Whitaker. I'm sorry, that's Patty underneath Tyler White, rather. I apologize. Caden Henry Oaks right there. Bob Lacavera is in the top 10. He's up 7 spots, currently riding 9th. Stephen Lane in 10th. White and Ryan Patty battling it out. Patty's going to claim that spot back up to P6. Out front, though, Hollingsworth continues to put down some impressive laps. A 29.85 was the fastest driver in the top 10 last time by. Paul Crumry up there with him, running similar lap times, but still off the pace just a smidge. As we look back, Charles Woods and Dave Hunt side by side. Again, last lap, Hollingsworth continuing to show impressive speed. That clean air paying off the driver of the 97. Speaking of, he is our points leader. We talked about that a couple of times here tonight. Hollingsworth looking to have a strong night here tonight. He has 6 top 10s, has done really well. Has 2 top 5s, but has no poles or wins yet. He's just been the king of consistency. He has finished every race, the last 5 in the top 10. And that is what's contributing to that points situation. This would really lock it in here if Hollingsworth could bring home a victory at Chicago. Looking through the top 5 here, you're not missing really anything all the way back through the top 10. I'll take that back right there at 10. That's Tyler White. That's Tyrone Harris, Ross Rawlings all battling it out. Head over fist, actually making a decent run. He's up 4 spots. Currently sitting 9th. Bob Lacavera up to P8. A decent night for the 5 so far. See Bob unfortunately get involved in a couple instances over the last week. So last couple weeks, he's looking for a solid finish here tonight, I'm sure. And right now, riding around 8th is going to do it for him. This is a 5-way battle right here for that 10th place spot. Right now being led by Tyrone Harris, Ross Rawlings right there, Tyler White, Mike Whitaker. And look a little further back, that's Ryan Patty there. And that's Ryan Patty, and who was that? Was that Ron Deal there side by side with him? It was. Ron continuing to run a lap down, but no. This fight right here for this 10th place spot. 9th place spot, really, with hand over fist right there with him. A lot of exciting racing on the track here tonight for the Downforce Racing Series. Right here on Turn 1. Hello, everybody. I'm Sean Fitz. Jeff Hollingsworth leading currently here at Chicagoland, lap 86 of 140, well past halfway at tonight's race. Seen some cautions, but we've also seen some exciting green flag racing, and you're seeing that right now. Hollingsworth out front, Paul Crumry, Vinny Masteus, your top 3. Dave Hunt, Charles Woods, your top 5. Caden Henry Oaks has been a pretty fast driver, tried to leverage some pitch strategy to his benefit. Didn't quite pay off, but it did, well, let's take that back. It did pay off to an extent, able to get up to the top 6. Stephen Lane, Bob Lacavera, Tyrone Harris, and Hanover Fist are top 10. Ross Rawlings there now trying to battle his way forward. Again, was our pole sitter, led a bunch of laps, got loose out of 2 as he's going to make it 3 wide. Going to go right to the apron here on Tyrone Harris. And Hanover Fist, they're going to be side by side. Rawlings is going to lead. It's a 3 wide battle as they roll through 2. Harris is going to have the better line through the corner. Fist is going to back out on the high. But Rawlings is going to charge deep down into 3. Ross looking to shut the door. He's going to go all the way down to the grass here on the front stretch. There is no out of bounds here at Chicago, like Talladega or Daytona, where you don't run anywhere. You don't run on the bottom or under the yellow down the back stretches of those super speedway races. No out of bounds here at Chicago, and you'll see a lot of these drivers dipping down onto that apron to try and get every bit of speed down the racetrack they can. And you're seeing it pay off right there for Ross Rawlings as he's going to clear Tyrone Harris for P9. Oh no, Harris having a little bit of trouble. Bad corner exit off of 4 potentially now. He has fallen all the way back to 12th. Fist and Whitaker was able to get by him on the front stretch. Go back up front. Jeff Hollingsworth. He's leading Paul Crumry by a 0.6 of a second lead now. And here comes Vinny Masteus. He's going to look underneath Crumry. Masteus, I would argue, probably one of the faster drivers on the racetrack, consistently lap over lap. He's got tire strategy and savings down. He just needs to stay out of a little bit of trouble. Right now, Masteus running 3rd, but looking to get around Crumry, and the last time by, he was nearly 0.2 of a second faster. So this will come to fruition at some point here as they race to complete lap 91 at Chicago. Under the lights here for DRS. As a reminder, next Tuesday night, this crew heads to Talladega and goes super speedway racing right here on turn 1 next Tuesday night, 9 Eastern, 8 Central. But first, we got to wrap up this one here from Chicagoland. Hollingsworth in that blue 97, man, that car looks sharp here tonight under the lights. Leading so far here. Shout out Dave Hunt, by the way. We talked a little bit about this earlier, but Hunt was running in the mid-pack and really kind of struggling a little bit. He couldn't really get clear. He had a lot of chaos around him here the early part of this race. Right around that 5th place position was pretty much the entire field battling back there, it felt like. Hunt really couldn't escape it, but right now, currently running 4th out front of Charles Wood sitting in 5th, so not a bad recovery of Hunt, leveraging some of those restarts and then some of those visits down pit road to be able to settle into that 4th place spot. Heading up front, while Hollingsworth continues to lead, Masteus was able to get by Crumry. And Masteus now on the hunt for that lead spot. We'll take a look last time by. Our leader ran a 30.49 to Vinny Masteus is a 30.32. So really nearly a 0.2 of a second faster than the leader. And what was almost a 0.6 of a second lead, Jeff Hollingsworth is now seeing that gap now shrink down into a 0.3 of a second lead. On the prowl, the 97 car. I'm sorry, the 70 car on the 97. Looking throughout the field, really no other fights to speak of. Everybody's settling in here with one of the longest green flag runs to the night for the Downforce Racing Series. Had a rash of cautions, but not a lot of crazy stuff, just really some handling issues, especially off of 1 and 2 for a lot of these drivers, including Andrew Lutz Jr., who wrecked from the lead, unfortunately, just got sideways in the 2, and currently sitting 17th right now, a couple laps down. Masteus, I think, has backed off the loud pedal just a little bit. His lap times now are comparable or just equal of Jeff Hollingsworth. And that's not a surprising move. I would expect to see Masteus maybe try to save a little bit of tire here. This, I believe they could go all the way. These drivers last out pit road lap 61. You know what, I take that back. I don't know if they can make it on pit stops or not. We'll have to do some calculations there from a fuel perspective, but that could be a factor in why we're seeing the 70 car not continue to advance on the 97. Basically, your top 10 free and clear. Your next closest battle is back here. That's Andrew Lutz. Was looking underneath Tyrone Harris, and then Mike Whitaker just in front of him there. While we've got the opportunity, again, a long green flag run, let's ride on board with, let's pick Mr., you know what, let's go with Caden Henry Oaks. Let's ride on board with that driver as he works his way around here at Chicagoland. Let's ride on board the 51. Caden Henry Oaks riding around in 6th place right now, back out front. We're going to have a fight for the lead here as they race to complete lap 103. Hollingsworth, Masteus. That gap can no longer be measured in tenths, it's measured in car lengths. And as I said earlier, it's down to 1. Masteus is going to look underneath Hollingsworth with a little bit of a clean air option, the shortest way around the racetrack. Going to be able to hold them off. We'll continue to watch this fight here. Where are these two pick and choose their battles? Hollingsworth now going to choose the bottom of 3 and 4. Masteus is going to ride right in the tire tracks of our leader. Fairly equal lap times as they come across the stripe here, lap 105. You're not really missing anything anywhere else in the field, but here comes Masteus on the high line. This is a switch up. Oh, Masteus is going to make wall contact, but he's going to keep the RPM up. Momentum. Now is the 70 car coming down the backstretch. That wall contact looked like it slowed him up a little bit. Both drivers elect to head down to the bottom of the racetrack at 3 and 4. About a 1 car length gap separate first and second place here. Lap 106. Masteus charges hard, drives to the bottom. This is going to be a tight turn 2 exit. Masteus is going to be able to shut the door, though. Hollingsworth is going to try to switch him up, but he's not going to be there. Vinny Masteus is going to be your new leader. And there you have it. Jeff Hollingsworth is going to come down pit road. This looks like this was planned. He's also going to be joining Stephen Miller down pit road. So that tells you all these cars that came down 61 will have to come down again. That's going to include Masteus, Paul Crumry, Dave Hunt, Charles Woods. Now that this long green flag run's marched on, how long do you stay out? Because those new tires are going to be starting to chew you up. With the cautions that have been playing out and the pattern they've been playing out, we could see another one here tonight. And maybe that's what that 70 car is betting on, trapping some of these drivers a lap down before the end of this race. Paul Crumry, Dave Hunt, Charles Woods now, and Caden Henry Oaks, your top 5. This is a little bit of a battle right here. That is Mike Whitaker, Bob Lacavera, Tyrone Harris up there looking for an opportunity. Paul Crumry is going to pit from 5th place. He's going to come down pit road. Another driver from lap 61. The rest of this field, there's some lap 61 drivers and there's lap 75 drivers. I don't know if we will need to see these lap 75 drivers down or not. They may be tight on the fuel window. We'll have to pay close attention. Here comes our leader. Green flag stops underway. Vinny Masteus hits pit road. Dave Hunt is going to pick up the lead here on lap 110. 30 laps remaining here tonight into the Lions of Chicago for the Downforce Racing Series on turn 1. Masteus going to come down pit road. Meanwhile, Hollingsworth has already completed his stop. So is Paul Crumry, Ross Rawlings. Those stops are complete. And we'll see where Masteus comes out in the grand scheme of things. Still in his box, that long run down pit road. It's got to be agonizing for some of these drivers. There it is. Masteus is going to come out. He's going to be a lap down. Right now, Hollingsworth loading up the car into turn number 1. Where is Vinny Masteus going to be? He's going to blend in down the backstretch. So Masteus is going to be out front of Hollingsworth. A full second difference down pit road makes that up. Meanwhile, we see Charles Woods. He's down pit road for what will be his final stop of the night here, lap 112. Hunt is going to continue to lead again. He is essentially, it looks like, all but one other driver, a lap 61 pit road. Last time by, that was Tyler White, I believe. That was down pit road with him, lap 61. Everybody else is, I take that back. It looks like Bob Lacavera is also in that list, but everybody else in the top 10 were lap number 75. See how this all shakes out here. Bob Lacavera on the knocking on the door of a top 5 as well right now. But again, he's going to have to pit at least once, or at least one more time though before it's all said and done. So will Tyler White. It's getting a little racy back there. This is new tires versus old. All starting to play a factor with, especially with Rawlings there. Vinny Masteus is now just coming across the light. He's not a factor in that group. But a lot of racing action happening all over the racetrack here in different strategies as we're right in the middle of the first green flag pit sequence underway here at Chicagoland for Downforce Racing Series. Dave Hunt continues to lead. Caden Henry Oaks, Andrew Lutz, Mike Whitaker, Tyrone Harris, your top 5. We'll see if anybody comes down pit road. This time through, it does not look like we're going to have any takers. Only 8 cars on the lead lap at the moment. Vinny Masteus is going to be the leader of the lap down cars. Hunt right now rolling out of 200 cautions out. Paul Crumry looks like he is going to be involved. Where is Mr. Crumry at here? There it is. Oh, he's got it spun down the front stretch. This is an issue out of turn 4. Pit stop implications are going to be a problem for a lot of these drivers. At Crumry, you see, he just gets loose, had it straight, and then just couldn't quite get the car locked down. Nobody else is going to be involved there, but under caution again. We called it just a few laps ago. Potential caution's going to come out, and this is going to benefit Dave Hunt, Caden Henry Oaks, Andrew Lutz, Mike Whitaker, Bob Lacavera. These drivers have not been down pit road just yet. So this is they're gonna be able to pit, basically keep their track position, all with go back green flag racing with about 23 laps remaining. We're gonna step aside. I'm sure we'll see this front 8 come down pit road one more time. You're watching Turn 1. Caden Henry Oaks, Dave Hunt out front. Mike Whitaker, Andrew Lutz, Ryan Patty, your top 5. This was a critical caution for those drivers. They were able to retain their track position while coming down pit road for their last stops. Pace Truck's going to head down pit road. Back to the restart zone. Caden Henry Oaks gets them rolling. Green flag back out. 22 laps remaining. It is going to be a wild race to the end here. No longer need to save tires. You just need to roll. Henry Oaks out front. Dave Hunt P2. But just behind him is a 3-wide battle for third. Here comes Ryan Patty underneath Lutz and Whitaker. And then it's Tyrone Harris, Vinny Masteas, Bob Lacavera. It is a train wreck back here. What a move by Vinny Masteas. Holy cow, that was impressive. The 70 car splitting some competition down the front stretch to get free and clear the chaos, and they're wrecking Whitaker sideways. I'm sorry, that was not Whitaker, that was Tyler White. And cautions are going to breed cautions here. Not what Dave Hunt or Caden Henry Oaks wanted to see. They were out front and starting to drive away. Oaks, Hunt, Patty, Whitaker, Lutz, your top 5. Vinny Masteas, Tyrone Harris, Jeff Hollingsworth, Bob Lacavera, Ross Rawlings, your full top 10 here. Again, under caution for the 8th time here with about 20 to go. And Tyler White went for a ride. Let's find out what may have caused that incident. I believe White He may have had a little bit of help, or this may have been a turn 2, exit turn 2 issue. Let's take a look. Oh, yeah, there was probably a little bit of help there. I do believe that was Ron Deal. Again, involved in another caution. Not to say that was Ron's doing. I don't know that, but man, Ron cannot catch a break here tonight. I don't suspect we'll see anybody really come down pit road. As I say that, Ross Rawlings is going to come down. I don't know what that's going to be for, but either way, our leader, Caden Henry Oaks, is going to be the restart car when it's all said to come back green flag racing with about 17 to go. We're getting ready to call the end of this thing here tonight at Chicagoland. You're watching Turn 1. A potential 17-lap sprint to the finish here tonight for the Downforce Racing Series. Right here on Turn 1, under the lights at Chicago. It's been a wild ride so far. These race cars seem like they're a pretty big handful tonight. But Caden Henry Oaks is hanging on. He's up 16 spots and in the lead here with Dave Hunt alongside him on row 1. Mike Whitaker, another driver on the move, 15 spots up tonight, sitting third. Ryan Patty and Vinny Macias rounding out your top 10, or top 5 rather. As we talked about right there before the end of the broadcast, it's all done from pit road standpoint. What you've got is what you got. We're not going to see any more tire savings. Nobody is going to be doing a whole lot of giving. They're going to be doing a lot of taking. Caden Henry Oaks gets to the restart zone. The green flag back out. 17 to go. Oaks out front by a 5-car length gap over Ryan Patty. Hunt, Visteas battling it out for position. Here comes Lutz as well. Visteas is going to drive by the driver of the 80. He's going to be able to shut the door there now. Go after Dave Hunt sitting in third. Looking back up front, though, here comes Ryan Patty. Oh, I believe he's going to make wall contact coming out of 2. That looked tight. Right now, though, the driver of the 51, Caden Henry Oaks, trying to stay out front and win him one here. He has 4 top 5 starts in the last 5 races. But very aggressive, one of the highest incident points drivers in the league right now. We talked about that warning he received for the caution last week. Risk versus reward driver. Caden Henry Oaks is leading, and the caution's out again. Looking for it on racetrack. It looks like it's going to involve hand over fist. Also looks like Ron Deal involved in this one. Let's take a quick look and find out what happened. Oh, it looks like Hanover just came down off the nose of the 7, collected Ron. I feel for that driver of the 48. He cannot catch a break tonight. And we're going to be under caution once again here with about 15 laps remaining tonight in Chicago. While we're under caution, we'll take this opportunity to quickly talk about some upcoming races we have here on turn 1. There we go. I was able to finally pull up the calendar. Let's take a look here. There we go. And it looks like we are going to see our friends over at Sim 500, I do believe at Homestead this week. 80 laps with the Sunday Night Thunder group. Again, live right here at 9 Eastern, 8 Central on turn 1. And then taking a look at next Sunday night, they're going to be at Richmond for 120 laps of short track racing action. Again, you can find all those races over here on turn 1 for the Sim 500 group. If you are looking to take your league or your special event, your big race to the next level, head on over to Facebook.com, do a search for Turn 1. We'd love to partner with you and bring your event alive to many, many viewers. Whether it be a season, a league race, or a special event like you're going to see right here on Turn 1 come July, the first week of July. The Sim 500 group, we'll talk about that more later. We'd love to talk to you about hosting your next big race right here on Turn 1 Broadcasting. Head on over to Turn 1 on Facebook and give us a message. We're sure to get back to you as soon as we possibly can. Pace truck lights are off. We're going to go back green flag racing with 11 to go. Caden Henry Oaks up front. Ryan Patty, Dave Hunt, Vinny Masteas, Jeff Hollingsworth, your top 5. Whitaker, Harris, Woods, Raleigh's, Lacavera, your top 10. Again, a strong night for a lot of these drivers, a good points night for a lot of these drivers. We're going to see how this all shakes out, though. It's not over just yet. It has been chaos. But as I talked about, we're done with we're done with tires. What you got is what you got. You're also done with all the patience. You're not going to be giving up space. I don't imagine we'll see many of these drivers lifting, especially on that front stretch where they're fanned out on the apron. We're going to see it all. Who brought the fastest car? Who's got the fastest hands here tonight? We're going to find out. Oaks took the bottom this time. Ryan Patty's going to be on the high side. By the way, keep close tabs on that 70 car. Into the restart zone. The green flag is out, 11 to go. The stance all over the bumper of Patty. I think Patty got loose there. But now, Ryan Patty's going to be even with Caden and Henry Oaks as they roll into 1. A battle for the lead here as they come down the backstretch. Ryan Patty out front by a car length. Oaks, though, back to the bottom and charging. He's going to be able to shut the door on Ryan Patty there. They're both going to head down to the apron. Back behind him, that is Dave Hunt. Vinny Masteas. Masteas is going to ride in the middle of the racetrack. He's going to have the momentum coming out of 2, but here comes Hollingsworth. Hollingsworth on the outside of Hunt as well. And a big wreck back here involving Ross Rawlings and a couple others. That's Mike Whitaker. Also looks like who else involved in that? Is that Paul Crumry? It is. And that's going to bring another caution out here with 10 to go. Let's take a quick look and find out what may have happened here. What a pileup down the backstretch, taking out some of the fast drivers here tonight. Whitaker was on his way to a really strong finish. Unfortunately, that is probably going to be the end of his opportunity to bring home a top 5. As we come back live here tonight at Chicago, Caden Henry Oaks continues to lead. Ryan, Patty, Vinny Masteus, your top 5, or top 3. We're going to step aside one more time, and we'll be back with you shortly. You're watching Turn 1. It's all going to come down here to these last couple laps on who can be out front when it matters most. We've seen back-to-back cautions here, but can they stay green? I know the driver of the 51 is certainly hoping so. Ryan Patty is also looking for an opportunity to maybe challenge the 51, but also, as we talked about during the last caution, we got to pay close attention to that 70. Vinny Masteus is going to be looking for an opportunity to strike here. Not as much speed as I think the 70 expected to have here tonight, but right now, sitting third, just behind the control car on this restart. See how this all shakes out for these drivers. They're going to go back green flag, racing with 6 to go. The pace truck's going to head down pit road. Into the restart zone they go. Green flag back out. Oaks is going to move down, try to block the run from Masteus. Masteus is going to get clear of Ryan Patty. Jeff Hollingsworth and Ryan Patty going to make a little bit of contact into one. Oaks free and clear out front, but here comes the 70 of Masteus. Jeff Hollingsworth back into the top 3. Masteus is going to move down to the bottom, look underneath Oaks, but not going to have much of a run. Oaks is going to hold him off as he comes to the stripe. 5 to go. Here comes Hollingsworth on the outside, rolling through 1 and 2. Masteus is going to move up the racetrack a little bit, try to block that run. He's going to go right back down to the bottom, though, to try to run down the 51 there. Right to the bumper he'll get, but not be able to make any progress. Down the front stretch, he's going to follow the leader. Up to the high line now, the 70 goes. He's going to try something different. Ryan Patty's going to follow him up there. He's going to make wall contact. Nobody's going to have any issues, though. Green flag still out. Oaks is able to hold him off. Here comes Hollingsworth back to the bumper. Masteus, 3 to go. Oaks has got that car on cruise control. Nobody's really been able to get up there and challenge him very hard. He's going to drop back down to the apron. Hollingsworth and Masteus is going to follow him. They got 2 laps remaining. 8 sets of quarters and cautions out. It looks like Mike Whitaker's into the wall. Paul Crumry is also down on the apron. That may have had something to do with it. I don't see an incident logged for him. But this is going to send us into NASCAR overtime. This is, again, not the caution the 51 wanted to see. He wanted to see this run green. He had a control. He had the 70 car bottled up behind him. So he also had Hollingsworth. He's going to have a restart of all restarts. Henry Oaks out front, under caution. We're going to NASCAR overtime. You're watching Turn 1 Racing. First attempt at a green-white checkered going to be here. If you're new to NASCAR overtime, essentially what's going to happen is these drivers are going to race. They're going to get the green flag. They're going to go racing here in Chicago. If they make it all the way back around 1 lap and see the white flag, that's it. They're going to race all the way to the checkered, no interruptions. They could, though, if they see a caution before that white flag comes out, re-rack and run it again. Caden Henry Oaks, Vinny Masteus, Jeff Hollingsworth, your top 3. Masteus is going to be on the high side. Oaks had a decision to make here as a driver, I think. We've seen him go back and forth high and low. Masteus has been up high in turn 1 all night, or at least most of the night. Let's see how this all plays out. Pace truck's off. We're into NASCAR overtime for the Downforce Racing Series in Chicago. Oaks gets rolling. Masteus a little bit slower off the line, but gets up to speed. Enters a lane higher into turn 1 and 2. They're single filed out down the back stretch. Oh, Oaks is going to move down and try to block Masteus. Big move there. Out of turn 4 they come. They're going to see the white flag one more time around here in Chicago. Masteus tried to dive to the inside of Oaks in turn 3. Does he got another opportunity? Right to the tire tracks. Down the backstretch they go. Oh, Masteus is going to move down to try to hold off Hollingsworth. Hollingsworth is going to get into the bumper. Masteus is going to be right there, but he's not going to be able to do anything. It's going to be Caden Henry Oaks, your winner here tonight in Chicago. Big wreck there as they were coming across the line, but it was Henry Oaks, Masteus, Ryan Patty, your top 3. What a wild finish here tonight. Onto the lights in Chicago for the Downforce Racing Series right here on turn 1. We're going to step aside really quick and bring you some post-race coverage. You'll want to stay tuned for that as we're going to talk to our top 3. Stay tuned. You're watching Turn 1. Getting ready to wrap up some race coverage. Here's Caden Henry Oaks. Burns it down on the front stretch here in Chicago after a wild night. Just as a reminder, these drivers return in 1 week's time and to take on the high banks of Talladega Super Speedway right here on turn 1, 9 Eastern, 8 Central. We'll quickly, though, talk to Caden Henry Oaks here. Our winner tonight at Chicagoland. Caden, congratulations, that 51 car. Fast when it matters. Talk to us about those last restarts, though. How much did you not want to see that checker or that caution flag come out?
I did not want to see it at all because I was saving fuel and I was good to the end.
Caden, we saw a lot of back and forth there between you and Vinny Masteus, especially on that last restart. Who behind you were you really most worried about, and did you know you had the car to hold everybody off?
I was worried about Vinny because I knew he was faster the whole night, leading laps consistently throughout the race and different phases of the runs. I knew Ryan was fast because he's able to drive through the field. I didn't really see Jeff, but I knew he was up front. You know, all those guys were fast up there. But I had confidence in my car to put it where I wanted to, and I was lucky enough that the car stuck with me. So it was a good feeling. Those last 15 laps or so is when I was able to actually drive it in anger, and it felt good. The car felt really good when I was able to, do that. It was reacting the way I wanted to how I wanted to drive it.
Well, Caden, that certainly proves proves to be true. Bringing home the checkered flag here tonight. That's got to feel good to have that monkey off your back, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you again here real soon.
Yep.
And with that, we will quickly talk to the driver of the 70, Vinny Masteus. Vinny, congratulations tonight. A top 3 finish. Not the night that I'm sure you wanted to have. It looked like that 70 car was just a little off the pace. Walk me through your evening.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm good where I'm at. A lot of cautions at the end, but that's cool. It was tough because you get that air block and the aerodynamics just made a big difference. I tried to get on the side of Caden there so I can get that side draft, but it just not enough time. We had that caution didn't happen there on the last one. I think if you had that many laps, I think it would have been good. Get in there and side draft him and take the bottom there, but I'll take second. I'm happy with it.
Vinny, we also heard, we were talking to Caden just a moment ago and heard how the car was kind of handling to his liking. from your perspective, and obviously a huge update today on the iRacing side of things, did that really affect what you expected to see out of the car tonight here in Chicago?
Yeah, no, it's totally different. Took some getting used to there. I like it. I'm not sure what other tracks are in effect for it, but I think we just spoke here before you pulled us all in, but I think we all are going to like it.
Well, good to hear. Vinny, congratulations, P2 here tonight. And based on your track record, I'm sure we'll be talking to you again here real soon, hopefully at Talladega.
Thank you very much.
And with that, we'll quickly talk to the driver of the 30 machine, Ryan Patty. Ryan, congratulations. That car looked pretty fast here tonight. Walk me through your evening. You drove back and forth through the field there a couple times.
Oh, thanks, Sean. Yeah, man, I thought we were dead in the water for a good bit there. With this the new tire and the update to the car, it was a lot of fun to drive. But I kept saying to everyone, it was a lot of learning all night long. Where's the edge now? The tire seemed to be a little bit more flexy, which would give you a little bit more drift until it didn't. And I don't know if you caught it, but a couple times there I popped the wall, damaged the car. And I thought I was dead in the water in that last run until that caution came out after green flag stops. We were about to go a lap down. Caught a really lucky break there to keep us in the top 10. And then, we took what we learned for the first half of the race and were able to keep it up there with the top 3. And, it was fun there. Last couple restarts, I thought could have gone either way. I was running down Caden with one of those starts, and then I got shuffled back to 4th and, clawed my way back for a P3 finish. So all in all, I'm pretty happy with the way things ended up.
Ryan, you're one of the drivers here in the top 3 with 2 wins, 2 poles, and obviously a pretty consistent track record all told in the 3rd place here tonight. You mentioned that tire model, and it's something you may like. What do you think that translates to, especially being at Chicago tonight versus, say, a track like Talladega next Tuesday? Any thoughts there of leading into a potential first super speedway on that new model?
Yeah, the tire doesn't concern me that much, but what I've been reading is that they updated the drafting package, the way these bodies bounce off each other through the air. So it's going to be a little different next week. Again, we're going to have to learn how to race all over again when we get to Talladega. I don't know if the side draft is going to be as dominant. We'll see how quickly the cars suck up to each other. And yeah, I mean, it's really going to be interesting to see. Really, Talladega's, it's not a newly paved track, but they paved it recently enough that handling typically doesn't come into play. But you never know. We'll see. We could get there next week and we'll be sawing on the wheel. So we'll have to wait and see.
A solid night here. Ryan Paddock driving up and past more cars, I think, really, than anybody in the field. Going to finish here 3rd tonight. Ryan, congratulations. We'll talk to you soon.
I appreciate you. Hopefully we'll be back in victory lane some point here.
Thanks, Ryan. And with that, we're going to wrap up race coverage here tonight. Turn 1. Bringing you Downforce Racing Series live action every Tuesday night here through the end of July. We're really excited to be on board with this group. And as we talked about, Talladega next Tuesday, 9 Eastern, 8 Central, right here on Turn 1. On behalf of the league admins, I'm Sean Fitz. We appreciate you being here. We'll talk to you again here real soon. Sunday Night Thunder is our next broadcast. 9 Eastern, 8 Central, right here, Turn 1. Have a great night, everybody, and we'll talk to you Sunday evening. Bye-bye now.